Howdy. If you are thinking about taking Tramadol, either for a medical purpose or to get high, and you take an antidepressant, make sure you're not taking Tramadol with an SSRI. It is potentially life-threatening and nowhere near worth the somewhat opiate-like high of Tramadol. Howdy folks, G-Man here, and it is a beautiful night considering we are in the last week of January in Montana. We're talking 40-something degrees during the day. I mean, if you're in Montana or, the Dakotas or maybe Wyoming or Idaho and you know what cold weather is, 40 degrees for the last week of January, boy, that's something. All right, tonight we are going to talk about the redheaded stepchild of the opiate family. That is Tramadol. There's a lot to cover on it, a lot to talk about, but real quick, because I know a lot of people get fed up with me flapping my gums, but this is very important. Do not take Tramadol if you are on an SSRI antidepressant. Those include ZOLOFT, CITALOPRAM, S-citalopram, PAXIL, Effexor, stuff like that. Do your research. It can cause a life-threatening, horribly miserable condition called serotonin syndrome. We'll dive into that later in the video. But I wanted to get that out there right away. Do not take Tramadol if you are on an SSRI. Very important. Very important. All right. So, we've got the drink. Check. We've got the vape. Check. Nice hair. Awesome clothes. Check. Speaking of awesome clothes, I got my Hard Intentions shirt. You guys got to check out the back too. Check this out. Boy, is that great or what? So in full disclosure, I purchased the shirt. It wasn't given to me. So I'm going to give it an honest review real quick. It's incredible. They use a very, very high quality shirt. The same shirts that other greaser and rockabilly and biker cats know, called Lucky 13. They use the same brand of shirts. It's quality. I thought it was going to be a Dickies shirt. Hell no, it's even better than a Dickies shirt. Okay? The work is just incredible. It's well put together. I love this color. I thought it was going to be black, but man, I love gray. I love charcoal. This is my shit. Shout out to you, Brother Mitch, over at Hard Intentions. Check them out if you want badass, cool, greaser, and biker clothes. Check them out at hardintentions.com or check out their YouTube channel where Brother Mitch spits some straight up truth about the California prison system. And that is the Hard Intentions YouTube channel. Thanks, Mitch. And thank you to your awesome wife as well. You guys are awesome. check out their lives too. Check out their lives on Wednesdays and sometimes Saturdays at about 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Alright, back to Tramadol. So, Tramadol has so much controversy surrounding it, I don't even know where to begin. Is it an opiate? Is it not? Is it an antidepressant? Is it a drug to help premature ejaculation? I mean, what is it? What the hell is it, right? Is it illegal? Is it not illegal? Alright, so I'll start off with this. The way that I see it, Tramadol is a selective serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor with affinity to the mu, kappa, and delta opioid receptors. Big mouthful, right? So Tramadol, I believe, was created in the 60s or 70s. It's a full synthetic drug. I remember in about 2015, there was big news in the drug circles and drug communities online that scientists had actually found naturally occurring tramadol as an alkaloid in the bark of a certain tree in Africa. That has since been debunked because the tramadol abuse epidemic in southern Africa was so bad that it was just prevalent everywhere, and somehow it had contaminated a sample, and that's why they thought they had found it. So, it is a fully synthetic drug. Scientists have gone back and forth for years as to whether classify it as an opiate or not. I can tell you this, it does feel like an opiate. I've been a junkie my whole adult life. I know quite a bit about it. And let me tell you, Tramadol is an opiate. It can help with withdrawals, and you can straight up get high off of it. But not everyone is going to experience that. See, Tramadol is a prodrug, okay? Which means when you consume it, your liver metabolizes it into a few different metabolites, okay? And these metabolites, at least one of them that I know of, is active, meaning it affects the brain and the central nervous system. And this is called O-desmethyltramadol, okay? Based on your genetics, your liver may or may not produce the enzyme in great enough quantities to convert enough of the tramadol into O-desmethyltramadol, giving you that opiate-like buzz, okay? I am in the camp where I do have enough of that enzyme because I can get higher than a kite on Tramadol. The first time I did Tramadol, I was 16 years old, and I found it because a sleazy friend of mine and my sleazier self decided to look for my parents' drugs. My stepdad burned herb at the time. That's what we were looking for, the dude's weed. We didn't find it. We did, however, find a big old fucking bottle of Tramadol. And we hopped on Dr. Google, read about it, and before you know it, our dumbasses are trying to snort some of it. Which is not recommended, by the way. If you're going to use Tramadol, just take it orally. And it rocked my world, man. It wasn't my first opiate high, but it was one of the first. And it led to a pretty serious addiction. If you recall, the first time I got high was on Vicodin, and I dabbled with it here and there, but once I dove into that Tramadol, all bets were off. I had what seemed to be an unlimited supply of it, and I felt like I was untouchable because I felt like What was mom gonna do? Come up to me and say, "Are you taking my pills that I'm abusing and shouldn't have anyways?" Well, it turns out she did eventually call me on it. And it would be one of many, many, many times she would catch me stealing her Tramadol, okay? She was obtaining this Tramadol through ordering it from online pharmacies. That's going to bring me into my next point about Tramadol. Tramadol was not scheduled until very, very recently. It was not even illegal to possess. You just couldn't buy it without a prescription. And I don't think it was made illegal until literally like 2012 or so. So, let's get into the effects of Tramadol. Positives would be slight euphoria, reduction in pain, reduction in anxiety, mental euphoria, physical euphoria, albeit lighter. But I would say the most noticeable effect that I enjoyed from Tramadol was a sense of well-being, okay? Now, we're not talking like fire hose euphoria like heroin or oxy, but just a sense of well-being, you know? Everything's all good. It's cool. I don't mind. It's all good. It's all gravy, right? And it felt good on the body, too. It did for me, at least. So Tramadol was marketed to be less addictive than other opiates, but in my opinion, it was right there with a lot of them. In fact, I would prefer Tramadol to codeine. Codeine is what is often compared to Tramadol. So those were the positive effects, some of them. Let's get into the neutral. Tiredness, sleepiness, nodding, typical, right? Negatives. This is where it gets a little interesting. Negatives would be constipation, urinary retention, or increased urination, one or the other. Risk of seizure and death, especially if you're on an SSRI. Heavy nodding respiratory rate, which can be fatal. And a very, very, very harsh withdrawal syndrome, okay? We're talking very, very harsh. And it has withdrawal effects comparable to Prozac or ZOLOFT, which include things like erratic behavior, mood swings, insomnia, zaps, right? Brain zaps. And if you combine that with your typical opiate withdrawal syndromes, which include diarrhea, dysphoria, itchiness, pain, aches, you know the drill, it's a special kind of monster, okay? Tramadol withdrawal is something I've experienced quite a bit, and it is absolutely agonizing. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking, oh, Tramadol ain't no thing, it ain't no big deal. Trust me, Tramadol withdrawal is hell on earth. And again, you really, really, really want to stay away from Tramadol if you take an antidepressant, especially an SSRI. If you are unsure if your antidepressant is an SSRI or an SNRI, please do your research before consuming Tramadol. Some people do it and they're fine, other people do it and never wake up. It's no joke. So, Tramadol is very interesting. I eventually started doing it by jacking them from my mom. Her poor soul. I put my mom through a lot of shit. I'm glad she's still alive, and I'm glad we've made peace and are cool today. But I gave her hell with the Kype and the Tramadol and all that. But then I got into buying it in Mexico because it was easy to do. And eventually I didn't even have to go to Mexico to buy it because I had a coworker who lived in Tijuana just buy them for me and bring them back. And we're talking like a 500 pill bottle for like $160 US. Wowza, right? But you gotta be careful with Tramadol because the seizures are no joke. It's easy to take a lot. They make you very queasy and nauseous. In fact, I got so used to vomiting because of Tramadol. I would literally take it, take my stuff, have my drink. I wouldn't eat much while anticipating the come up, knowing I would barf. But it got to the point where I would literally step outside of work, walk down there, act like I'm smoking or whatever, and just pull one of these, like. And go about my day, right? So yeah, Tramadol is now scheduled. I believe it's a Schedule 4, maybe Schedule 5. It's commonly prescribed for dogs, for pain dogs may have. In fact, I remember I got high off of Tramadol one time because somebody who had me over had their pet meds out, saw that it was Tramadol, and I popped some. I took some. And it was the exact same pills that they give to people too. Same. It was like a white circular pill plain on one side, and the other side said like 54-182 or something like that. So if you're gonna mess with Tramadol, tread lightly, be careful, watch how much you're taking. I was gonna throw in some stories about Tramadol, but I'm gonna save them. I don't want this video to get too long. I don't know if this was very helpful or not. I hope it was. If you're having trouble with Tramadol addiction or any opiate addiction at all, and you have questions, or you just need to vent to somebody, drop me a comment down below. And if you're having a hard time speaking publicly, shoot me an email at reflectionsofajunkie@gmail.com. That's one word, no spaces, no underscores. reflectionsofajunkie@gmail.com. Stay safe, stay rocking it. Check out hardintentions.com if you're into greaser or biker or just badass clothes. Thanks again, Mitch. Thanks again to my viewers. I'm going to keep rocking it for you guys. So please take care. G-Man logging out.